If Suga was given a tour, why didn't RM get one? Is Big Hit not confident on RM's popularity? If Jungkook appeared in many US shows and events, why didn't V and Jimin get the same opportunity? If RM and Taeyong got 5 music videos each, why didn't Jimin, J-Hope, and Suga get the same thing? Why are BTS members not getting the same promotion support for their solo projects? These are questions that you sent. Many of them were, I guess, triggered by the last video that I posted. I'll answer them and also talk about other things. But before I do that, let me just do a disclaimer. I don't know BTS. I don't work for HYBE or any company affiliated to them. I don't get paid in any way, shape, or form by HYBE or any of the companies they are affiliated with. So I have no direct knowledge about how they do things. They do promotions, planning, development, and others. What I am about to do is a standard practice in marketing. We do reverse engineering. When there is a successful campaign, successful product, we study them and we're able to determine the resources that they use, the strategy, the objectives, the metrics for success. And the objective is usually for us to learn from it. If it is something successful, then maybe it's something that we can replicate. If it is something that failed, then we will know what it is that we should avoid. Now, for BTS, I'm doing this for personal growth. I am in the field of entertainment and marketing, so learning about how they're doing things would also help my career. Okay. First, let's agree on some givens. Even if you're a solo, whoever it is that you're favoring, you know that they are accomplished, talented, successful, smart, and kind people. They know their worth, and the fandom has helped in reinforcing to them what they already know they want to do, and that is to just pursue growth artistically. Didn't we all bombard them with messages and promises that we will support their journey regardless of what direction they will take? Second, while it is natural for idols to have less say about their career in the beginning, especially when they're new, BTS said that they were given free rein on what their music was going to sound like, the direction of their artistry. They spoke about their contribution in how they were marketed and how they designed the direction of their career. They have proven this to be true. Remember that Bang Shiuk, and this was caught on camera, encouraged them to take a break when they, at the start of their journey towards global dominance. Bang Shiuk actually asked them to take a break because he was worried about their mental health. He was worried that all they were getting was professional success, but they're missing out on the personal happiness aspect. And it was their decision not to follow the suggestion of their own producer and the CEO of their own company. In another incident, Jin was going to enlist during the summer, but it was the BTS members who convinced him to delay his enlistment so that they can do the free concert in Busan. It wasn't HYBE who convinced him, it was the other members. Another incident is that Big Hit actually advised Suga to do a stadium tour, but it was him who declined. He thought that he wouldn't be able to sell the tickets. He later on admitted that if he can just go back in time, then he would actually follow the suggestion of Big Hit. Another incident, we saw how Jimin created his own album Face. We saw his handwritten lyrics. We saw how he decided to work with P-Dog, Evan, and Ghost Loop primarily. They have people advising them in Big Hit, but they make the final decision. If early in their career, they already had control, what more now that they have proven what they can do? They carry the company. 50% contribution in the net profit came from them. It's a conglomerate and 50% of the earnings came from them. They aren't stupid to not know their actual worth. That being said, I know, of course, that they are not perfect. Big Hit is not perfect. Big Hit America, HYBE America is not perfect. And I'm sure they've had issues. But that is true for any company. Even I have my own business. And even in my own business, I have issues. Because I have some, I've employed some people that I don't like. I can't just fire them just because I don't like them. I can't fire them even if they're messing up their work, because there are laws that are protecting them, and I have to put up with that. And that is my own company, right? The same thing with customers and clients. I can't just fire them because they're going to affect my bottom line and it's going to be bad PR for my company, and it is my company. So even if it is yours, you don't have total control. What more if it is not yours? Especially the bigger the company, the more problems that you will encounter. That being said, BTS members are smart, they are confident. We know that for a fact. That is a fact. We know that. If they feel that leaving the company is what is best for them, they will do that because they know anyway that their fans will support them whatever decision that they make. I believe there are three main factors that affected how they did their promotions and marketing. Time is one, because they were going to enlist. Second is where they were creatively. And third, where they wanted to be creatively as solo artists. Given those, let's talk about Suga's story first. Suga had a very clear vision of August D. He said from the beginning he knew it was going to be a trilogy. And we know that he released 2 free albums, mixtapes, before his first official album, D-Day. August D and D2 were the mixtapes. And so it allowed him to actually have enough songs. Along with RM and J-Hope, he had enough to actually pull off a solo concert. Everything he did leading up to the concert allowed Big Hit to design or create other products and things to sell, merch, movies, documentaries. J-Hope could have actually toured, but time became a factor because he wanted to enlist early so that he could finish the service early. RM could have done it, but originally, time and where he was creatively became a factor. Originally, he wanted to enlist together with J-Hope, but he did say in the album exchange that he needed to get this album out. He needed to get all the emotions out, so that where he was creatively affected it. The vocal line didn't have enough songs. Yes, they could have covered some songs, sing some of the songs of BTS, but when did we ever know BTS to half-ass a project? Never. None of them would ever do something unless they know it is the best that they could offer. They are known for over preparing and over planning, but never under preparing and under planning. That is why Suga was the only one who could do a tour. Why did Jungkook get the most US promotion? I think the language, the genre, the concept of the songs, and Jungkook himself played a huge part in it. In terms of language, this album was also in all English, but predominantly was jazz, R&B. Those are popular genres, but not as popular as pop. Now, Jungkook himself made the choice to do pop, and he specifically asked for songs that are talking about love because it is a universal theme. That goes to show that he has a very clear vision on what he wants to become as an artist. He said that he eventually wants to conquer other languages and other genre. V had a good number of performances in Japan and other live shows, but in festivals and concerts and other events, especially if it's your first time there, they usually would want you to do something that is more hyped, like pop or hip-hop. V made a choice to do something drastically different. It was his choice. It was his choice who to partner with or who to work with. Everything was his choice, nobody else's. Now, as for Jimin, we know that he works straight to finish Muse right after Phase, and that could have limited his time to do any kind of extensive promotion outside of Korea. Now, just a reminder that everything that I'm saying is a product of me analyzing things in reverse. Okay, I am not claiming to be right. This is speculation. I also think that his personality had a lot to do with it. Suga said, and Jimin reinforced this, that he gets very shy and uncomfortable when he's doing things alone. And so I think Jimin used Phase to sort of get more comfortable in his own skin alone and find his way, find his identity as an artist, become more comfortable. And I think he is becoming a little bit more comfortable, especially after all the achievements. The mere fact that he appeared in Jimmy Fallon, I think, says a lot about his disposition. He's very comfortable with Jimmy Fallon. We know that they are friends with him, even off-cam. I think of the 4 vocal line members, Jungkook is the one who has the clearest idea on where he wants to go as an artist, and that's where the direction plays a part in. he knows from the beginning. He said, I want to become a global pop star that can do all genres and all languages. I think Jimin, V, and Jin are finding their way. I think they know what they want, but in terms of creating a concrete identity, I think they are working on it. Okay. Why did V and Jungkook not write their own songs? First of all, we all know that all members of BTS can write, and they can write well. There are a lot of other singers and supposedly composers out there, and then they would just produce trash. These boys produce and write quality music. How many times has V uploaded a song and that he wrote and composed and then just deleted because he wasn't happy with it? Jungkook has what, 20 plus Comca credits. They can write. They didn't write their albums this time because other factors played a part. For V, remember, V, Jimin, Jungkook, and Jin grew up creatively in the environment of BTS. What I am understanding from V is that he thinks that whatever output he has, it would have been influenced by BTS, and he wanted to do something different because he wanted to grow as an artist. That's why he decided to work with others. Jungkook, time played a part. He didn't want to put out an album. He just wanted to rest and then enlist and then come back as BTS. But he was given 7, and then things came from there. That's why he couldn't write. He didn't have the time. But I'm seeing a lot of comments saying that, oh, he's not a real writer or whatever. Okay, it is unfair. We know, for example, for Jimin, we've seen him writing his own lyrics. We've seen the actual lyric sheet, and we know the difference between what he wrote and the final output. Usually, there's a 5% change. The rest are his. We know it is most are his melodies, and he took part in the production. For Jungkook, the latest song that he came out with, he wrote that by himself. So let's not question that. If haters see it, they're just going to use it against BTS. It's unfair. We know that they can write. Okay? So if they didn't write their albums, it is because it's a choice they had to make given the factors that they had on their hand. Why is it that only Jungkook got radio spins? Is he Scooter's favorite and does Scooter intend to separate him from BTS? What made you think that anyone is capable of making Jungkook do something he doesn't want to do? What made you think anyone could manipulate Jungkook or anybody in BTS? And are you saying that Jungkook and the rest of BTS are so emotionally and mentally weak to be brainwashed, coerced, forced, manipulated into doing something like this? If any member decides to leave BTS, it would be their decision and their decision alone, not because they were manipulated or coerced or forced into doing it. Also, none of the BTS members actually got radio spins outside of JK. Even RM, when Come Back to Me came out, it was supposed to go straight into radio. He barely got any spin. RPWP is being named as one of the contenders for Album of the Year, and he still didn't get any spin. J-Hope headlined Lollapalooza. Suga broke records with his solo projects. They didn't get spins. You would think that all of these things would be enough to get them spins. Nope. Now, although unconfirmed, let me just make that clear. Allegedly, Ron Perry of Columbia, their former distributor, allegedly met with radio station managers one by one so that he could play them Dynamite and convince them to give it spins. And allegedly, let me make that clear, this is never confirmed. The reason Ron Perry decided to put his name as a composer in Butter, even though he has not written any song before, was to get radio stations to give it spins, because then it's his song, because he's one of the writers, so it would make them give it radio spins. Now, if Columbia, one of the oldest, most influential and biggest labels in the US, would have had to do something like that just to get radio stations to give the song spins, what more Hybe America, which is just a startup in the US. 7 and 3D were perfect songs without collaborators, but allegedly one of the reasons they decided to get somebody in the song, to feature in the song, is to get someone that is already present in radio and would encourage then station managers of radios to give it spins. This is a knock, not a knock on Jungkook, definitely not. It's a knock on the system of radio stations and the radio industry. It is unfair. It would be different if they are upfront about the fact that they would only do American songs, but they keep on talking about being inclusive and representing what the public wants. And this is what the public wants, but they're not giving it a spin. Is HYBE or Scooter sabotaging any of the BTS members? Why would they sabotage their biggest source of income? BTS individual activities of the members brought in 50% of their income last year. They lost money in the first quarter of 2024. Why will they sabotage that? I am not Scooter, but I can pretty much surmise, and I'm pretty sure about this, that if his objective is to be the most powerful in HYBE, the first thing that he will do is get his hands on as many artists as he could, especially those that are bringing in money, and make sure that he markets them to the hilt, and then just make sure that everyone knows that he is the one bringing them there so that he can get the credit. So it doesn't make sense to me that they will sabotage the source of their income. I believe that at the end of the day, a huge part of why things are happening the way they are is first the system in the US. In the previous video, I've discussed about Spotify playlisting, how you have to pay, ads, algorithm, and I've just discussed about radio. And then last, I think the most important part is the members themselves. At the end of the day, if the members say, I don't want to do it, then they don't have anything. They can't do anything. If the members say, no, this is what I want to do, then they can't do anything. RM specifically wanted something that is different, right? It was hip-hop, it was just different. And that is not something that you can market in a pop event. So those things would influence how they are able to promote the individual projects of the members. Then why is Jimin's promotion all messed up, and why is Taeyong not getting enough playlisting? Several things. I don't think Big Hit, HYBE Global, HYBE America, Geffen, or Universal are perfect. Obviously not. Someone dropped the ball here. That's for sure. For the pre-purchase link to not be available for SGMB until like 2 days before the release is just absolutely mental. And we don't have the pre-release link for Who. And I don't think that this is Jimin's choice, because Jimin himself said he wants to continue getting into Billboard because for him, it makes him feel like it is a sign that he is transcending the language barrier. The mere fact that Geffen has an employee like Ray Kurzeka who had the time to troll a BTS army but didn't have the time to actually figure out what was wrong just gives you an idea on what kind of company that is. But, you know, also, it seems that BTS and Big Hit are simply not willing to pay for things that other artists are willing to pay for, like playlisting or YouTube ad, and we just need to work around it. That being said, I do think, as I've said, that mistakes were made. And I do think that it is okay for armies to demand for things. I think it is part of the strength of ARMY to be loud and to be demanding, and that's actually it's not always pleasant, it's not always appropriate, but I'll take the good with the bad. And I firmly believe that because of how driven and how loud and how demanding armies are, we've been able to achieve a lot of things for BTS. So as I've said, it's not something that I would do, it's not something that I prefer, it's definitely irritating sometimes, but I will take the good with the bad. Let's be careful of what our words could say about BTS. Saying things like they are forced to do something, manipulated into doing something, those don't bode well about who they are as people and their capacity intellectually and emotionally. They are smart men, and they're definitely not victims. I don't know why people find it sexy or even noble to be a victim. BTS knows that whatever it is that they do, we will support them anyway. So it's never a question of whether or not we want them to stay. They will do what they want because we promise them that we will support them whatever it is that they want. Now, it's hard to understand why things are getting messed up, but we need to trust the members. We should know that they would know what to do. As I've said in the previous point, I understand that armies are loud and demanding, and I think, as I've said, that it is part of what made armies so effective and so powerful, but we also need to know when to stop. BTS are men of substance, they are men of confidence, they are men of success and intelligence. They asked us to trust them, so let's do that. Now, last point, when I talk about one member or two or three members in this channel or on Twitter or on Patreon, it has no reference whatsoever with other members unless I explicitly say so. When I ask for pre-purchase links for Jimin, it is not because I am questioning why the other members got it and Jimin didn't. Nothing to do with each other. I'm just saying Jimin should get his pre-purchase links. If I talk about RM being deserving of Album of the Year, it has nothing to do with the albums of other members. Remember that they are in different stages of their career. If I talk about Jungkook's achievements, I am not demeaning the achievement of other members. I'm just talking about Jungkook's achievement, and there will be a day when I will be talking about the achievements of other members. Usually, I concentrate on the member that has a project. Usually, that's how it happens. So, thank you very much for all of the questions that you sent. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for coming to this channel and to Twitter and asking your questions. I know that sometimes I don't give you the answer that you want to hear, but I hope that you appreciate that I'm trying to give you the most accurate answer if I have it. And if I don't, if it's just my opinion, I'm always very open about it. Thank you so much. Please follow me on Patreon. There is a free tier membership. Also follow me on Xert or on Twitter and on Instagram. Thank you so much. Please give this video a like if you did like it. Also subscribe and hit that notification button so that you don't miss a single upload, and share the video if you can. That's the most important thing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.